right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Tonight, it can look like candy, but it's 50 times stronger than heroin. We verify if there's an influx of rainbow fentanyl in the U.S.
Brisk breeze. Why it'll have a bit of an extra chill on Monday.
But first tonight, a memorial for a bicyclist killed in a hit and run. But the family says it's much more.
It symbolizes places where people have been struck by cars and in some cases killed by the car.
Now the family is demanding safer streets.
Good evening, I'm Ann Allred. Mike Bush has the night off. Tonight, police are still searching for the Kia driver who hit and killed a bicyclist almost 3 weeks ago. The bicyclist's family still wants justice and changes made to the bike lanes at Grand and Magnolia, where he died. New tonight, our Elise Schoenig shows us a new touching memorial they hope brings change.
Star's gone. And the bike lanes are still here.
It's been almost 3 weeks since Larry McMiller lost his nephew, Danielle McMiller.
And, a car swerved out of the traffic lane into the bike lane and hit him.
Danielle, or Star as family called him, was hit and killed riding his bike on South Grand Boulevard and Magnolia Avenue.
The car that hit him knocked him into several other cars.
But now Danielle's family has a reason to come back to the place that took his life and a reason to remember it.
And it symbolizes places where people have been struck by cars and in some cases killed by the car.
Danielle's family found a tribute to his life, known as a ghost bike, at the site of his death. But every second he grieves is a second he wants change for bikers along South Grand Boulevard.
The bike lane goes in the direction with the traffic, so the biker has no idea they're about to get struck.
McMiller was one of many bicyclists who choose to use the busy bike lane here off of South Grand Boulevard. And as you can see, one of the main causes of concern for using this lane is how close it is to traffic with little separation.
Larry says painted white lines are not enough. He wants concrete barriers, wider lanes, and anything else to prevent another death like his nephew's. Although Danielle is gone, his family is grateful for a ghost bike filled with reminders of him.
He was very ambitious and he was just an all-around good guy.
So that his memory will ride on. Reporting in St. Louis, Elise Schoenig, 5 on your side.
The McMiller family told 5 on your side they still don't know who placed the ghost bike there, but they hope it's a symbol that saves lives in the future. Tonight, a St. Charles man is in jail, accused of shooting and killing his sister and injuring his ex-girlfriend. Police say Trey Spratt shot both women during an argument at an apartment complex near the Ameristar Casino yesterday afternoon. His ex's 2 young boys were in the apartment at the time but were not hurt. Spratt later turned himself into police. New information tonight in a major case squad investigation in St. Anne. A man was found shot to death on the front porch of a home on Douglas Court. Investigators say Terrence Washington suffered multiple gunshot wounds. If you have information, call Crime Stoppers 866-371-TIPS. Tonight, St. Louis police are searching for the man who shot 2 people outside of Ballpark Village. It happened very early this morning off of Walnut. Police say the gunman was arguing with a woman when another man intervened. He shot both the man and the woman before running away. Both victims are expected to survive. Tonight, the efforts to put the brakes on a proposed Love's truck stop is accelerating. A petition has already surpassed its goal of 1,000 signatures. Our Laura Barczewski was there as neighbors in Herculaneum gathered this afternoon. Laura?
And residents in the Providence neighborhood say the petition was only the beginning. Today, they organized some volunteers and are even floating the idea of raising money for legal help to fight the truck stop.
Providence neighborhood residents signed up for different groups on Sunday as their next step in the fight to block Love's truck stop from setting up shop next to their homes.
We need to meet with Love's and convince them that this is a very bad idea for this particular location. There are other locations better suited and closer to this port that's coming in.
Herculaneum Alderman Edwin Edwards Jr. says right now the city is waiting on more information from Love's and from MoDOT regarding changes on I-55 and hasn't decided if he will support it or not. Alderman Norm Seithel said in a statement he's against the truck stop. Residents say the area is already home to 2 larger gas stations.
Years ago, they fought to be put in there. They will go out, mark my words, they'll go out of business lickety-split the moment the Love's opens its doors. We don't have the population to support 2 truck stops because QT is across the street. That's a truck stop.
Just last week, a truck got stuck at the main entrance to their neighborhood. Israel Klayman is a truck driver and resident who says he knows firsthand many truck drivers are not trained to navigate residential streets.
It's a training thing that you have to go through to be able to safely come in and out of subdivision. People act different when they're in their subdivision. They're not out on the highway. You know, look, they act different, so we train for that purpose.
He says they're also concerned about what this will do to the environment around their homes.
Every single gas tank, diesel tank, jet fuel tanks, they all vent. Benzene gases, all kinds of hazmat chemicals that I have to have a special license to haul are venting up into the air. They're at a lower elevation than all these houses. So naturally, all these chemicals are going right into people's houses, right into people's backyards.
Now, the city is holding their next city board meeting at Herculaneum High School so they can accommodate more people on Monday, October 3rd at 7 p.m. Edwards says they're also working to set up meetings with Love's to answer residents' questions. Ann?
Thank you, Laura. Just a few hours ago, they served up their last helpings of fried chicken, mac and cheese, and cobbler at Sweetie Pie's Upper Crust. The last St. Louis location in Grand Center closed for good tonight. The soul food restaurant gained national fame with the reality TV show Welcome to Sweetie Pie's. The first location opened on West Florissant more than 20 years ago by Robbie Montgomery, a former Ikette in the Ike and Tina Turner Revue. Miss Robbie says the Upper Crust location was her dream. She was emotional when talking about the closure.
It is bittersweet. I'm tired, but when you think about it, you're not going to have your business the next day. It hurts. It really does. But I'm happy.
There's one Sweetie Pie's location left. That's in Jackson, Mississippi. The Upper Crust location will be demolished to make room for an expansion of the Cochran VA Medical Center. The closure comes just 10 days after Montgomery's son, Tim Norman, was found guilty of masterminding the murder of her grandson, Andre Montgomery Jr. Tonight, Interstate 44 in downtown St. Louis is back open. Let's take a live look at the depressed section near the Arch grounds. MoDOT reopened the highway within the last few hours. It was closed all weekend as crews replaced some overpasses between the Stan Musial Veterans Memorial Bridge and the 44-55 split. It's been 2 months after historic rain and flash flooding destroyed local homes and businesses, and FEMA is still on the ground. Now the agency is reaching out to flood victims in a new way. 5 on your side's Mercedes McKay shows us.
We want them to be safe. We want them to prepare themselves.
With the twists and turns the weather can bring, FEMA officials want to make sure people are ready for the next storm.
We're trying to reach out to everybody, not just those that was affected, but those that could be affected.
Stanley Ballantyne is just one of the many with the federal agency setting up shop at local Home Depots. They're providing free information to people about how to make their homes stronger and safer.
Stuff we put on the table here are things that we encourage people to consider to use in their home before, during, and after a disaster.
That includes everything from flood barriers to sewer valves to cleaning supplies.
We have some things over here that will prevent water 1 or 2 inches from coming into your home.
Aside from hardware items, Ballantyne says there's a couple of other tips they're telling people. Get flood insurance and have your roof checked at least once a year.
We don't know if the weather is going to be the same every year. It could be worse.
While there's a lot of help from the federal and state government, Ballantyne says it's better to be safe than sorry.
If you can prepare yourself before things happen, that's less of a headache and problem that you could go through.
FEMA officials are here at the Home Depot off Kings Highway Boulevard. They're also at a Home Depot in Brentwood and Bridgeton. Now they'll be here every single day through Saturday, October 1st. In St. Louis, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
The deadline to apply with FEMA is October 7th. For more information on how to apply, text the word HELP to 314-425-5355. The Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah began just hours ago at sundown. Hundreds gathered for services at the congregation Sher Emeth in Creve Coeur. It's one of the holiest days in the Jewish religion. Apples and honey are eaten to signify a sweet new year.
Chasing 700 is sponsored by CarShield.
Not many players get a standing ovation after striking out, but Albert Pujols did today at Dodger Stadium following his pinch hit appearance in the ninth. The Cardinals lost 4-1. Of course, Albert gave LA fans a historic show Friday night, hitting his 699th and 700th career home run. He is just the fourth player in MLB history to surpass 700 home runs. Frank will have much more on this historic weekend coming up on Sports Plus. Pujols and the Cardinals are now headed to Milwaukee, where they could clinch the NL Central over the Brewers. The Redbirds will return to Busch Stadium Friday for their final 3-game homestand of the regular season. Then it's off to Pittsburgh for 3 games before starting postseason play.
Post Malone postpones the pain the rapper is now experiencing 1 week after a terrifying onstage tumble in St. Louis. A deadly drug made to look like candy.
They're trying to get children younger and younger to take this horrible, horrible drug.
Tonight, the new push to combat rainbow fentanyl. Plus, our Verify team looks into how this deadly drug is getting into the wrong hands.
A nearly picture-perfect week for us while we watch Tropical Storm Ian strengthen rapidly. The latest track from the Hurricane Center just in.
Tonight, rapper Post Malone is back in the hospital a week after a terrifying onstage tumble here in Enterprise in St. Louis. He was forced to cancel his second of 2 concerts in Boston last night. In a tweet, he said he woke up yesterday with stabbing pains on his right side and had difficulty breathing. The rapper suffered bruised ribs during last week's concert in St. Louis after falling through a trap door. He continued the concert and went on to perform in Columbus, Ohio, Toronto, and the first show in Boston. No word tonight if he plans to cancel his concert in Cleveland on Tuesday night.
We know that one of these pills can kill. That's black and white, not rainbow.
A push tonight to fight rainbow fentanyl. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer wants to add $290 million in the federal budget to combat the distribution of the drug and fund overdose response teams. The announcement comes on the heels of a rare public warning from the Drug Enforcement Administration about the dangers of the synthetic opioid, which can easily be confused as candy. Ariane Till from our Verify team has what you need to know about the potent drug.
50 times stronger than heroin and up to 100 times stronger than morphine. Fentanyl, a synthetic opioid, was linked to 66% of American overdose deaths last year. Recently, social media posts have claimed there is an influx of rainbow-colored fentanyl in the U.S. Some posts say drug dealers are using the candy-colored drug to entice teens and young people. So let's verify. Is rainbow fentanyl circulating in the United States? Our sources are the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, the Placer County District Attorney's Office in California, and law enforcement agencies in Idaho, Oregon, and Georgia. An August 30th warning from the DEA confirms that rainbow-colored fentanyl is available across the country and has been seized in 21 states. State government and law enforcement agencies throughout the country have also confirmed reports of rainbow fentanyl circulating in their area in August. Many of these sales are happening on apps like Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, according to the District Attorney's Office in Placer County, California, which saw a 450% increase in fentanyl deaths between 2018 and 2021. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office in Oregon says deputies found 4 grams of multicolored powdered fentanyl that looked just like sidewalk chalk while executing a search warrant, and shared concerns about rainbow fentanyl getting in the hands of young adults or children who could mistake the drug for a toy or candy. So we can verify, yes, rainbow fentanyl is circulating in the United States. The DEA says all colors, shapes, and sizes of fentanyl should be considered extremely dangerous. Anyone who finds a colored pill or powdered substance should call 911 immediately. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
What can we verify for you? Send an email, verify@kstk.com. Tonight, Canadians are cleaning up from Hurricane Fiona, the strongest storm ever to hit the country. In Newfoundland, 1 woman died when she was swept out to sea. Officials say it will be an extensive recovery that could take months, if not years. Tonight, Florida is under a state of emergency ahead of Tropical Storm Ian. The track is still unknown, but the storm is expected to strengthen into a hurricane before making landfall later this week. In Central Florida, people are filling up sandbags, boarding up windows, and stocking up on emergency supplies.
We got a lot of water, food, we got a lot of gasoline in case, we got a generator in case the power goes out.
Governor Ron DeSantis has activated more than 2,500 guardsmen from the Florida National Guard. Let's get to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, who is tracking Tropical Storm Ian for us. Scott?
Yeah, and some things are becoming a little more clear tonight. As anticipated, Ian is strengthening, and that was one of the keys, really getting a little more organized so that we could get a better handle on exactly how it's going to move and get a better track forecast, because we're pretty confident in getting it here into western Cuba. You can see the circulation here. Look at the thunderstorms blowing up that deeper red there. Most of it missed Jamaica. You have some of it going across the Cayman Islands, and the track of this is going to take it right across western portions of Cuba. It will strengthen very quickly into a hurricane in the next 12 hours or so. Probably by daybreak. Should be a Category 2 hurricane when it goes over Cuba, and as soon as it gets into the southwest Gulf of Mexico, make that the southeast Gulf of Mexico, we're increasing the speeds to Category 3. There are tropical storm watches. They go up from about Fort Myers down to Key West. Now, it is expected to strengthen into a Category 4 hurricane, and then it kind of gets just offshore of Tampa as a Category 3, give or take a little bit. Keep in mind that cone is where the center of the storm could be. But the trend has been getting it closer and closer to the coast, still coming ashore somewhere north of Tampa. The problem is, for the folks that are on the west coast of Florida, this is going to drag tremendous amounts of water, just push it onshore, and an awful lot of rain. So there's going to be big impacts across Florida. Meanwhile, here at home, we started out this day absolutely gorgeous. Rick sent us this photo on the 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers page from St. James, Missouri. What a gorgeous start to the day. The breeze picked up, though, as the morning progressed, and this afternoon we had some gusts around 30 miles per hour. That could happen again tomorrow. Basically looking at clear skies tonight. We've already dropped back into the 60s. Some of the outlying areas sliding now back into the 50s. Chesterfield's down to 55. Cook Station's at 53. You've got 58 over at Scott Air Force Base right now. In St. Louis, officially at Lambert, looking at a temperature of 64 degrees. The high was 81 today, the low 62. We will talk about temperatures tonight dropping into the 40s to lower 50s, a crisp night under clear skies. Tomorrow we have more sunshine on the way. We're back into the lower 70s. We still have the breeze. Tuesday, well, it's pretty much status quo. More sunshine, low 70s. And then it gets even cooler heading towards Wednesday morning. This is when you'll really notice it. Even in town, we're down into the 40s. Some of our outlying areas are going to be close to 40 degrees for the low temperatures early on Wednesday morning. That's an adjustment, don't you think? Especially after being in the 90s last week. So we've got some cool fall-like weather on the way for the next few days, and a forecast that features almost nothing but sunshine, Ann.
It looks fantastic. Best we've had in a long time,
Absolutely.
I feel like. All right, Scott, thank you. The cooler weather, that means firing up your furnace maybe. The big spike in heating costs this winter that will burn a hole in your wallet. You might want to grab an extra blanket this winter. That is because it's going to cost you a lot more to fire up your furnace. If you heat your home with natural gas, expect to pay 34% more this season. The price of heating oil is expected to rise by 13%. Electric heat will be up 7%. First-time applications for low-income home energy assistance are up 60%. For tens of millions of Americans, conserving water has become necessary because of extreme drought conditions. But limiting your water use could also save you money. Consumer Report shows us simple ways to avoid having your faucet and wallet run dry. Here's Mike Bush.
Saving water doesn't need to be difficult. Let's start outside. The EPA says outdoor watering accounts for almost 30% of household water use. Save water by letting your lawn grow longer to reduce evaporation so you water less frequently. And think about replacing some grass with mulch, ground cover, or longer ornamental grasses that use far less water.
Instead of rinsing your driveway or deck, sweep it or use an electric leaf blower. And wash your car with a bucket of water instead of a running hose.
Nearly 20% of indoor residential water use flows from the shower. A standard shower head releases 2.5 gallons of water a minute. Consumer Reports says that replacing it with a low-flow WaterSense approved head that uses 2 gallons per minute or less can save 2,700 gallons a year. Save even more by limiting showers to under 5 minutes and turn off the water when shaving or brushing your teeth. In the kitchen, soak pots and pans instead of scrubbing them under running water. And keep a water filtering pitcher in the refrigerator to keep from running the faucet for cold drinks. And you can save water in the laundry room.
If you have an HE washer, use a detergent for an HE machine. Regular detergents will create a lot of suds and will force an HE washer to use more water to get that soap out.
And a word about household leaks. They account for more than 10,000 gallons of wasted water a year. So fix those drips. Mike Bush, 5 on your side.
Consumer Reports says that to check for a toilet leak, great tip here, place a drop of food coloring in the tank. And if any color shows up in the bowl after 10 minutes, it's leaking. Probably time to replace the flapper or valve seal. Christmas is 3 months from today. Yeah, we should have that kind of music. Ebenezer Scrooge won't be the only one counting his money this year. A new Bankrate survey found 84% of those surveyed will try to save money with their holiday shopping because of inflation. 40% said they will buy fewer gifts. 21% will look for cheaper brands. 28% said they'll make homemade gifts or give secondhand items as presents. Stay with us. We'll be right back. They were celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month this weekend at the Hispanic Festival in Soulard Park. The event featured bands, authentic food, and crafts from Latin and South America. The festival raises scholarship money for college students and underprivileged children. And they let the dogs out in Tillis Park. It was for the APA's 30th annual Canine Carnival. There were pet contests, music, food trucks, even a beer garden for the humans. Proceeds help the APA's effort to help stranded pets. That is all of our time for 5 on your side at 10. Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. And here's Frank Cusimano with Sports Plus.